Yeehaw. I think we're on the air. Let's take a look. Yeah, we're here. All right. How's it going, everybody? It's Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Tuesday. Tuesday already. My goodness. January the 16th? Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable. Winter's day here in Creston. It was sunny for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes. That's it. It's been cloudy ever since. I think we're going to get snow, and tomorrow we're going to be about 40 degrees, and we're going to get rain on top of our snow. So yeah, I'm just looking out, and it's just not pretty. You can tell that it's not sunny out because my face isn't all shiny here and really dark here. It's a little, but you know, what can I tell you? Welcome to my channel. Welcome for joining me today. If you're new to this feature of mine where I talk live at 5 o'clock Eastern, I'm kind of doing this almost every day during the week, aren't I? I kind of like it. If you're just joining me, sign in. Tell me where you are. Where are you located, and what's your high temperature today? I seem to have a sort of a cast of regulars that watch me every day, which is great, and it's growing, which is great. And I'm trying to grow the audience as much as I can, of course. And if you know anyone that might like this channel and what I'm doing, you know, let them know. And I'd love to have them follow me. From Big Bear, Thomas Arnold from Big Bear, California. Thomas, is that where you're from? That'd be great. Wherever Big Bear is, but I know of a Big Bear in California. Welcome. You know, I have a channel on YouTube. I've had it now for about 5 months. So I'm relatively new. Most of you folks who watch me during the week, I would say, gosh, I would say about half the views or 2/3 of the views are people who don't know, you know, have never seen me before. And so they're stumbling across me and they're finding me. I have about 110 or 115 videos now that I've got in my channel. And yes, okay, Big Bear. I used to live in Palm Desert, California. That's why I guessed Big Bear. Boy, I love it down there, and I miss it terribly. Anyway, my channel has a bunch of playlists on it, talking about my travels and people I've met over the years. I love talking about cruise ships, cruise ship vacations, and how you can get a good deal on a cruise, help you figure out what's what on a cruise, like all these different charges that you can run into now. I did a video the other day. I did a chat last week. 25 different fees you can run into on a cruise. And that's, I know there's more, but I found 25. It's just unbelievable. Paula is here. Hi, Bruce. 24 in Hanover, Pennsylvania, right? Back to cold and snowy on the way. Oh, snow's on the way. Sorry, Paula. And I'm sorry about your Steelers. Tell you, my wife is still in mourning. Shock, I think, is the real word. My wife's in shock about the Steelers and the Jaguars, but then she had this premonition. She saw the first time they met, and she didn't like the way they played then. And she's going, what? They couldn't change the way they're playing now, but obviously the Jaguars were ready for the Steelers, and oh my gosh, Big Ben and the boys couldn't make it happen. It's terrible. So what are you going to do? Arnold, what's your temperature going to be today in the Big Bear? Kind of curious. Are you up there? Are you up where the snow is, or are you, you must be at elevation. And did you have any problems with the fires? We've been watching that and just praying for all you guys down there. Unbelievable. Anyway, back to my channel. For those of you who are, you know, discovering me for the first time, as you can tell, it's not very formal. It's an easy, open chat. I've got some information for you on cruising today. I've got some updates. I got a couple of cruise deals I've come across that I'll talk to you about and how you can find them. But again, I have playlists on my channel where I talk about how you can get a good cruise, a good deal on a cruise, some of my travels to Europe, Germany, and Italy. And then I have a playlist called So I Know You Like a Good Story. And I always mention this playlist because it's got some neat videos in there. At least I think they're kind of cool. But they were made when I was starting out, probably in my second month, and the quality may not be as good as what you're used to on YouTube, or maybe it's okay. But there's a couple stories in there I hope you like. I'll tell you one. I met a billionaire, the oldest living billionaire, who was the king of McDonald's French fries. He sold French fries to McDonald's worldwide, and I met him on a golf course at the twilight rate. This is in Palm Desert. It's actually in Indian Wells, right next to Palm Desert. I was with a friend of mine playing a cheap round of golf for 25 bucks after like 1 in the afternoon. And this golf cart shows up with this gentleman and his wife in the cart. And the gentleman was Mr. Simplot, who owned a French fry company out of Boise, Idaho. Made a handshake deal with Ray Kroc in 1967 to supply French fries to McDonald's. And at the time, McDonald's only had locations in the United States. They hadn't even expanded to Canada yet. That was their next country. And together, these two entities, McDonald's and Mr. Simplot, they grew together worldwide. So Mr. Simplot had to figure out a way to flash freeze freshly cut French fries and deliver them to McDonald's franchises globally. Otherwise, he'd lose the contract. And he did. Neat video. I think you'd get a kick out of it. Anyway, that's nothing to do with cruising. Paula says that was disappointing. I agree with your wife regarding the Steelers losing to Jacksonville. Thomas, it's 60. Not good for Snow Summit and Bear Mountain. Oh man, you guys can't catch a break, Tom. Unbelievable. First, you got the fires, and there's flooding in certain areas, and you guys can't get the cold weather for snow. I mean, geez, what's going on? Ridiculous. It's a beautiful area up there, and I miss it. Like I said, I miss it terribly. Yesterday, when I was on the air, I mentioned to those of you who are followers of mine and anyone else who's just discovering me, and I appreciate folks who are subscribing. I had 270 subscribers as of yesterday. This morning, I'm looking 281, 11 more. The growth rate of this channel is pretty good. Typically, you like to have about 1% of your views translate into a subscriber. So every time you have 100 views, no matter how many videos are being watched, you like to add a new subscriber if that's possible. And I think yesterday I had 750 views and I got 11. So yeah, instead of 7.5 subscribers, I got 11 subscribers. So my channel is growing at a very good rate, and I'm very excited about it. I hope you like this concept of this easygoing information back and forth, and then I can give you information on cruising. And I'm just going to keep on growing the channel out. 43 or 42,000 views on my channel now. And again, it's from a 5-month dead start, and I've paid no money to buy views or anything like that. I've just grown them organically, and people are finding me in search engines, and some of you out there are telling your friends, which I really appreciate. So if you like the channel, first of all, give me a thumbs up today if you're on this telecast, and let me know you saw it. Give me a thumbs up. And if you like what I'm doing, I think there's a subscribe button that's always on one of these two sides, a little red thing. But there's also a subscribe button that has a bell beside it. And if you're a subscriber and you haven't hit that bell, hit the bell, because it's called a notification icon. Every time I'm announcing one of these telecasts or anything like that, you'll get an email. It'll just tell you, oh, Bruce is up to something, and you'll know. If I change the time on my future telecasts or make any changes, you'll know. Anyway, that's a little thing about my channel. Let's talk about cruising today. So Nathan is here. Hey, Nathan, how you doing? Where is the closest Cafe Nero? I'm not sure what that means. Nathan, I'm not sure what you're saying. Anyway, I want to talk about some cruise information today. I got some news here. I read today in something really interesting. I had mentioned this a little while ago about how cruise ships, every 5 years, you got to take a big ocean liner, a big cruise ship, in for dry dock for what's called a refurbishment, or a kind of a rebuild, or at least a refresh. And it might be for a week or two, or it might be for longer. And these refurbishments are it's like if you're in charge of a cruise ship line, you've got an entire department of people who do nothing but handle and coordinate ship refurbishments. That's a tough word to say, especially quickly. Ship refurbishments it can be very basic, where you're just replacing some carpeting and maybe some mattresses. There might be, these kinds of things. They could be more extensive as well. The refurbishments can be as extensive as, say, engine systems, or you could be doing something like as extensive as televisions in all the rooms, or what was I going to say? Relining the outside of the hull for better passage of the water, scrubber systems you can put on board. It's just all, I mean, you can go technical on this, or you can just go cosmetic. And so a lot of refurbishments last 1 or 2 weeks, usually 2 weeks, and you'll bring a team of people on board. These refurbishment departments, they'll bring a team of people on board, and they'll jump in there, and they'll have on standby the carpeting people. They'll have on standby all the bedding people. If they're going to replace every mattress, for example, you know, the entire bedding, which is not uncommon after 5 years, they'll have all these guys taking the mattresses out, and they'll have these teams of people bringing mattresses in. You'll have various teams on various decks that will be assigned, and you only work deck 8. You guys only work deck 9. You only, and so on, because time is of the essence. This ship has to be completely refurbished, head to toe, whatever has to be done on the to-do list, in 2 weeks. And so you got people up in the bridge, people in the engine room, teams of people everywhere, air conditioning systems, filtration systems, new dishwashers, new refrigeration, whatever it requires. And if you need a major refurbishment, like a major upgrade, you might add stuff like entire water parks to a ship that's never had a water park before. So you've got the slides, and you've got the twist, you know, the slide where you come out and you're going around and around and around. There's just endless versions where you can where you can do these refurbishments. Now, refurbishments are a $3 billion a year business, U.S., and there are 335 cruise ships out there now in the water. To give you an idea, just every 5 years, so 20% of these, 66, 67 of these ships a year have to come in for refurbishment. And this is done worldwide. This isn't done in any one local, in a local spot. What else was I going to say? Big ships, big cruise ships are spending $2.8 to $3 million a day on refurbishment costs. The numbers are staggering. So if you're in there for 50 days at $3 million a day, $150 million, you can understand the kind of money that's being spent on refurbishments. Other ships are adding stuff like complete restaurants. They'll take an area of the ship that might have been, part of the, walkway inside, and they'll have like some meeting rooms or whatever. They'll rip them out and rebuild them completely into restaurants. Well, building a restaurant, that's complete new electrical systems, plumbing systems, ventilation systems, kitchen systems, serving systems. They may have dishwashers there. This is a serious rebuild, and the logistics are just absolutely mind-numbing as to how they go. Nathan is asking me, if you've been on a Disney cruise. I say, nope, not yet. Haven't been on a Disney cruise. Haven't got any little ones anymore, and no grand little ones. So no need for me to be on a Disney. I'm thinking more for children than for myself. So on the refurbishment side, this is unbelievable. And talking about refurbishing, Royal Caribbean has been talking. They are doing a number of refurbishments on their ships. The Allure of the Seas, which when it came out, when it hit the water, was the largest cruise ship built, with about 5,000 passengers. There are now 3 or 4 other ships just kind of similar to it. Each one has sort of been adding 20 passengers to the number. It's going in for a propulsion system redo. It had problems within the first year or so, propulsion system problems, or I think it was in the last year it flared up. Couldn't reach top speed, and so the itinerary for the Allure of the Seas was adjusted in such a way, and departure and arrival times adjusted in such a way that it could make the next port on time. And the big problem for the Allure was the first 2 days to get down to its Caribbean destinations, and the last day and a half to get home. But it's going in for a complete propulsion system. That's going to be tens of millions of dollars to repair that. But the parts are waiting. The engines are there. It's all there. The technicians are there. It goes in, I think, next week. Adventure of the Seas, another ship owned by Royal Caribbean, is going in for a 30-day fit. So that's going to be upwards of $90 million. And they're going to add an Isumi Japanese cuisine restaurant, and new inside rooms, new ocean view rooms, and something called a suite lounge. And I'm guessing that might be a lounge area for the higher end cabins that'll be exclusive to the higher end patrons only. And that'll be nice. Obviously, it'll be nice, and it's expensive. But the logistics of building one of those in something existing, you got to tear up what's there and then put in what you want to put in. Majesty of the Seas is going in for a 6-week retrofit, dry dock, 6 weeks, 42 days. That's going to be $100 million. But Royal Caribbean won't say what they're doing. So far, we don't know what it is. We'll probably hear in the next week or two. Independence of the Seas is going in for a major rebuild in April, and they're adding an aqua park. This is one of these, mega water slide type deals, probably with multiple water tubes, all with water systems, filtration, serious money. And of course, you have to, account for the weight, you have to account for the wind resistance, you have to account for just, all of these logistics to handle it. This is going to be a major expense. They're also putting in an Isumi restaurant, new lounges, improved ice rink, the skating rink. They're probably improving that. They're putting in a trampoline park. That's going to be kind of cool. And they're revamping the Royal Theatre. So it may well be that every seat is getting replaced or refurbished or upholstered. What is it, 800 to 1,200 seats in these things? Big jobs. And they're adding laser tag. So there's another ship with laser tag being added. That could be pretty cool. Mariner of the Seas, $100 million upgrade, 6 weeks in Cadiz, Spain, between March and April of this year. And it gives to show you, I know of refurbishments in Kings Harbor or in Bermuda. There's a refurbishment in the Bahamas. They do refurbishments here in Cadiz. They do them in Germany. They do them in the Netherlands, just everywhere. Other information from Royal Caribbean, a new private destination called Coco Bay is going to be opened up in June of this year. And apparently the Mariner of the Seas is going to be a frequent visitor of that place. And this is something that's happened in the last 5, 6, 7 years. It started where cruise ships were completely dependent on countries allowing them in and ports allowing them in and having port facilities to handle their ships. And you'd have a what's called a head fee, a cost per person that you'd have to pay the receiving, city or town or port or country. Like Cayman Islands, for example. Every time a ship pops into the Cayman Islands, there's so much charged per person to the island as a fee to handle all the logistics. And there's a lot of paperwork involved that we don't see. It's done before the cruise is even done, even happening. The passports are cleared. So when you check into your cruise on day one at your embarkation port, you're handing in your passport. You've already given them the passport information when you bought your cruise anyway. They've pre-cleared you. The ship has already pre-cleared you into the countries that the ship is going to on the, say, Caribbean itinerary or European itinerary. And if there's a problem with your passport or for whatever reason with the country, they'll bring it up before you even get to the city where you're going to get on the ship. So that's something to think about. And the Caymans are one of these islands. They have to pre-clear every passenger. So they have to have staff to go through all these passports and double check to make sure that these persons are aren't on no-fly lists, or there's problem with the passports or whatever issues. That costs money. And so the countries are charging the cruise line, which means you and me, they're charging for these fees up front. That's the so-called taxes and port charges and fees portion of the fare that we pay when we go on a cruise. So, we see the $599 or $799 special, $799 deal for a balcony cruise, but then we add that $120 to $180 or whatever it is for taxes and fees. That's part of it, pre-clearing passengers. Anyway, so these cruise ships run into this issue at every port. They have port fees. If you can dock the ship right at a pier and just let you get off the gangplank, you got to pay rent for the day to park your ship there, thousands and thousands of dollars. And every day a different cruise ship is slotted in there to get that coveted space, that spot. And some of the cruise lines are finding that, the onshore experience sometimes isn't so good. A few years ago in Jamaica, cruise ship passengers were getting pickpocketed a lot, or they were getting literally robbed at gunpoint. And so they would go to other parts of the island instead, and eventually the cruise lines figured out, starting about 7 years ago, maybe even 10 years ago, they decided, enough of this tomfoolery. We're going to have, on some of our Caribbean cruises, dedicated ports where we own the land, or we lease the land that the passengers are going to go to for the day trip. And we're going to build a Shangri-La here. We're going to build a wonderful beachfront day resort area full of cabanas that can be rented out on a per day basis, zip lines, water park slides, roller coaster rides, just all kinds of activities. And it'll all be organized and owned by the ship. And so you as a passenger can get off the ship at a pier, which will be built specifically for this, no tenders required. And you can walk onto this beach area, and you can pay virtually nothing and just hang out on the beach, swim in the water, bring a towel from the ship with you, and enjoy yourself. Or you can rent a cabana by maybe a 2-hour time frame, or 3 hours, or half a day. You can get a massage on shore from masseuses from the ship line. All this income is coming into the ship. Ride the zip line, more money for the cruise line. Take a water slide thing. You'll get a pass. You'll pay that. They'll make money off you that. You want to buy a drink on the shore, they'll make money on that. So instead of you going on shore and spending money with merchants out there that they don't have and control, they control the whole deal, and they control all the shore experiences that you're going to get. And it's maximizing their profits, improving your safety, because you're not going to be out amongst the ne'er-do-wells, I suppose. And you're going to be looking at a pretty good time. You'll be looking at a much safer time. Disney does exactly the same thing. Disney Cruise Lines owns an area off in the Bahamas. They own an island. They've even leased it for 99 years, or they bought it outright. I'm not sure how it works. And they've put an entire Disney character theme day together for the Disney ships there. And every day another Disney ship is coming in, and there are staff ready, waiting, and able. And all of these, Disney characters are waiting and are ready to go. And you're going to be given a Disney experience in the Bahamas, and it's incredibly popular. And it's a big win. Holland America. Thomas says Holland America too. Thank you, Thomas. That's right. There are other ships doing the same thing. So major cruise lines, they're going to do this, and they're going to continue to do this. So here is Royal Caribbean putting more money into this specific K, they call it, Coco K, and it'll be an exclusive Royal Caribbean deal. Of course, Royal Caribbean will allow celebrity cruises to go there because they own celebrity. Carnival will allow Princess ships, Holland America ships, their own ships, of course, Carnival, because it's their property. They have their additional lines. So this is how this is going, and I'm frankly surprised that there aren't more. I've noticed in the last a few weeks a lot of announcements by island nations and other ports who are trying to attract cruise ships to come to them, because they recognize the value of having 2,000 people in a day stop in your village or your town or your small city or by the sea, even if they have to tender in. And you've got 2,000 day visitors, walking around, and it's likely they're going to hit the local 7-Eleven or the Starbucks, or they're going to hit the donut shop, or they're going to hit the t-shirt shops. They're going to hit all the curiosity stores with all the unique souvenir type, items. They're going to hit the bars. They're going to hit occasionally a restaurant. Why, I don't know, because you got food on the ship. But I guess, if you're 6 hours offshore and it's been hour 4 and you're hungry, you're not going back to the ship for 2 hours. You want to get something to nibble on. I get it. Bakeries, of course, are making a killing. These towns love it, because at the end of the day, these folks are gone. These folks are gone, and they don't have to worry about them anymore. They're on a ship, and they've gone to another port, and the merchants are tallying up their take on the day, and the town or the city or the harbor there has earned landing fees for the tenders. It's free cash for tourists who, frankly, are going to spend some money today. That's what's going on. And of course, if you're offering, a fishing charter service out of there, or if you're in a tropical area and you can offer scuba diving or snorkel areas like the Caymans, will take you to Stingray City. I mean, these Stingray City operators are making a fortune. I mean, they've got ships on there. I've been on Captain Marvin's Stingray City tour, and I think he limits it to 20 or so people per boat ride. Well, I've seen examples where operators will have 200 people on a large type boat, take them out to Stingray City. I don't want to be on a boat with 200 other people. It's packed. It's mayhem. It's insane. A lot of kids. Oh, ridiculous. But hey, money is money. They're charging $15 a head. 200 people, quick $3,000. 3 hours, it's all over. Not a bad way to make money. Spend $1,000 to make it, clear $2,000. Every day, another shipload of 200 are coming. It's easy money. It's big money for municipalities and others. Other thing I was going to mention today was St. John's New Brunswick, St. John New Brunswick. There's St. John's Newfoundland and there's St. John New Brunswick. They are talking about 19% growth in tourists this year from cruise ships. They're expecting 176,000 passengers to come on shore this year. They're talking about 70,000 crew, but 70,000 crew won't disembark the ship. Fraction, if at all, will disembark and go into town. But they're talking about 176,000 passengers impacting the economy, $50 million. That's the kind of money we're talking about. That's the summer season for St. John, New Brunswick. No cruise ship will go there in the winter, of course. What do we got? Paula K says, went snorkeling at Antigua and saw stingrays. Best offshore excursion, a lot of fun and plenty of rum. Yes, ma'am. Right on. I know in the Cayman Islands, there are some good tours for Stingray City. It's not like all packed like the one I was explaining, but boy, you can just do a variety of these events. And some of the places you land in port, you can rent a bike for the day. Just grab a bicycle for get 2 people on a bike or 2 bikes or a tandem bike, is it called, and tool around the island. When I returned to the Caymans, of course, I used to live there. My wife and I, we rented a car, and we drove to Rum Point, which is the other side of the island, which is a ride of about 30 miles away each direction. And we hung out for 4 hours in Rum Point, which is a place we used to go to with our daughter when we all lived there. And we would hang out there on a Sunday afternoon because we were working Monday to Friday being expats. So on Sunday, let's head out to Rum Point and hang out there for 4, 5, 6 hours. Well, that on the cruise, my wife and I did a 4-hour trek, and there were maybe 6 or 8 other people there from the cruise ship because it's too far out. But that was a lovely day. There's just so many things you can do on a cruise, and having the rum at the snorkeling and rumming, pretty good combination. A lot of fun. Oh man, that's a good time. Now, what else was I going to mention to you guys? A couple of deals. I found a couple of deals today on my favorite website that I like to go to. It's called vacationstogo.com. All one word, vacationstogo.com. You ever go there? You can become a member of vacationstogo.com. You just give them your email address, hit OK. They'll send you the odd promo, whenever they got new specials, and they come up with some really good deals. What I like about the site is how organized it is and how easy it is to follow. You can follow one cruise line. You can follow one ship in a cruise line. You can follow all the cruises in, say, the month of February coming up in just the Eastern Caribbean or the Western Caribbean or the entire Caribbean. You can ask that website, show me only inside room rates, only balcony room rates. Show me cruises, any cruises for, say, this June, anywhere in the world where I get a discount because I used to be a firefighter. You can get those. Any cruises that are offering 55 and over discounts. That's all I want to see. Or you can just say, show me repositioning cruises between, say, February and July, as an example. But they have to be 14 days or longer. Otherwise, don't show me anything under 14 days. It's endless. And when you get these results, you can then organize them by price. So you can say, show me cheapest to most expensive, balcony rooms only, repositioning cruise, February to July, 14 days or longer, or 7 days, or 8 to 13 days. It's incredible. It's a fantastic site. Anyway, today I was looking around, which I like to do from time to time, and found a couple of deals for you. Just double check here. Gailey's here. Hi, Bruce. It's 3 degrees Celsius and blowing a gale here in England. I'm sorry. It's cold. Love your channel. I learn something new every time I watch. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Thank you. Tell everybody you know. We need more. We need more watchers. It's fantastic to doing that. Went on a dune buggy ride on Eleuthera, Bahamas. Very disappointed. Our buggy broke down along with 2 others. Wouldn't recommend an excursion. Oh no! Well, it sure sounded good, didn't it? I mean, on the brochure, it must have sounded fantastic. Everybody would have thought, wow, what a great opportunity to do that. And then it all went to pot. What are you going to do? Oh, it happens. It happens. I tell you, short excursions to me, some I like, some I don't like. When I did a European cruise, we did 12 days. I think it was 11 days. We had about 9 stops, maybe 10. And on the first number of stops, I didn't do an excursion because it was my daughter and I, and we just went out we just walked and took the local transit or took a cab and just explored ourselves and loved it. We did Lisbon like that. We did Malaga like that. We did Gibraltar like that. That was great. Reminded us of the Caymans because it's an English protectorate. That was kind of cool. But when we got to Naples, I knew I was going to see a bucket list of mine. I wanted to see Herculaneum. I didn't want to go to Pompeii because it's much busier and it's in much worse shape. But Herculaneum, just outside of Naples, I wanted to see that. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, which is same with Pompeii, obviously. And we had a half-a-day deal. So we got off the ship at about 9 in the morning. We walked around Naples, enjoyed that very much. And then we got back to the pier and we caught up with our tour guide for our Herculaneum tour, which was, I think, 3 or 4 hours. And it was fantastic. I know now, the next time I'm back in Naples, I get to go back in Italy. Even if I take a cruise, I'm going to Naples for 3 days. And I'm going to see the museum, the actual museum of all the artifacts recovered from Pompeii and Herculaneum. And I want to go back to Herculaneum again, and then I will see Pompeii for the first time. But that was a fantastic day trip. Really loved it. Apollo saying, luckily my boyfriend's mechanically inclined. We made it back safe. So yeah, your boyfriend had to help fix it. Oh, that. You should have got did you get a discount? Did they give you your money back? Man, he should charge union rates for that. Isn't it a minimum 3-hour charge at so many dollars an hour or pounds or euros? I mean, man, that's unbelievable. When we landed in Rome, my daughter and I took a day trip, an entire day, 8-hour excursion, and well worth it. It was about $200 each, included lunch at a restaurant a block away from the Colosseum. And got to the restaurant. We saw the Colosseum first, and then we got to the restaurant. It was about an hour and a quarter for lunch, and we had several items from a menu we could choose from. They brought us the 3-course meal. No tip required, nothing required, everything included. You'd already paid for it. Basically, the ship was saying, don't give them any money, you already paid for it. It's all done. And we said, great, okay, fantastic. Included wine or a soda or whatever, no extra charge. And then in the bus over to the Vatican, and we did the Vatican for the afternoon. And that was a wonderful day, fantastic day, no pressure, because we had to go 80 kilometers back to the ship, and we made it. We never had a problem making it back to the ship on time. Just fantastic. Thomas is saying funny, Paula. Yeah, what an outing. And then our next outing was Florence and Pisa, the Leaning Tower of Pisa and Florence. And that was a day trip as well, 8 hours. Loved it. By bus, first to Florence, and we did 4 or 5 hours in Florence, several spots. And we had an English-speaking guide, and I think we had that little headsets so we could hear her. She was talking to a little microphone that was attached to here. Absolutely fantastic. Ask her anything you want, didn't matter. And then we had lunch at another restaurant, primo food, and then we went to Pisa, saw the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and we all did this. We all got to did that, and did the Leaning Tower of Pisa thing for a couple hours, and then back on the bus, back to the ship, and right to the spa. Bruce went right to the spa because I was on my feet all day. I was tired, and had dinner, and then went to bed around 9 or 9:30. Slept like a baby. Fantastic. These outings can be great. They can be interesting, like Paula's saying. They can be unique, and yet they don't work out. But on the other times, you get a snorkel tour, and the rum is flowing, and who cares? And it's a great time. Way to go. All right, two deals I found today that I thought I'd mention. The first one is a departure on April the 14th. So what are we at right now? Just January 16th. So February, March, April, almost 3 months from now. Plenty of time to get this one. I've mentioned this ship before. I'm going to mention it again. It's the MSC Seaside. Brand new ship. It was just christened and launched out of Miami not even 3 weeks ago, 2.5 weeks ago. Holds 4,000 passengers, 5-star line, all the bells and whistles. The pictures that they provided they're stunning. This is a fantastic looking vessel. I can't wait to see some people's YouTubes come out. I'm still waiting for, let me just take off my glasses just so we get this straight. MSC, Bruce is here, and I'm willing to do a YouTube video, if not a series of YouTube videos on your ship every day with crew and other passengers. You just tell me what the rules are. You just give me the call and just say, Brucey boy, we got a cabin for you. I prefer a balcony because my wife likes the balcony. You and your wife, come on down here. We'll put you up for a week and enjoy a cruise, and we'll give you free internet so you can do your YouTube videos on board the MSC Seaside for a Caribbean cruise. I'm just a call away, or just send me a message, or if any of you folks out there know somebody, make a call for me. I'd appreciate it. I'm there for you. But if you have to pay, if you gotta pay, I got a deal for you, because on the MSC Seaside, there's a 7-night cruise out of Miami that goes Miami, and then you have 2 days at sea. You end up in St. Martin, then San Juan, Puerto Rico, another day at sea, then to Nassau in the Bahamas, and then back to Miami. You can get an inside room for $429. How about them apples? Or how about an ocean view room for $599? And if you want a balcony, splurge a little, $669 for a 7-night Caribbean cruise on a brand new ship. The bed you're going to be in has been slept in 3 weeks. That's it. I mean, it's fantastic. But here's a kicker for you. If you want to take the kids, you got children that are 11 or younger, free. Just share the same cabin. You can get a cabin with one child or two children additionally, no charge. Just pay taxes and fees for the kids. The fare is free. So let me go over that again. A balcony for $669 for two. Okay, so that's $669 twice. That's about, what is that? Just under $1,400. Then you pay your taxes and fees for the adults. That'll be about $150 an adult. So $1,700. That's a 1-week cruise for two and a balcony. Add up to 2 kids if you want for free. Just taxes and fees, $300 for the 2 kids, $150 a kid, $20 a day. Your kid can eat $20 at dinner. This is a giveaway. This is a bargain of bargains. MSC has thrown the gauntlet onto the laps or the table or wherever they throw the gauntlet to Royal Caribbean, which means all the subsidiary lines to Royal Caribbean, to Norwegian, and to Carnival, and everybody else. We're here. We're not going anywhere. We're spending $14 billion on new ships over the next 5-6 years. That's 2 ships a year for the next 5-6 years. These guys have 14 ships now. They're not going anywhere. This is a real competition, and it's a privately held company. They don't have to report their profits and losses to Wall Street like Royal Caribbean does, or Carnival does, or Norwegian does. These 3 companies, they're in a bit of a quandary because every 13 weeks, you have to report your quarterly earnings to Wall Street and the analysts. And if the Wall Street analysts get a whiff, a hint, a sign that Royal Caribbean's earnings aren't going to match expectations, not the company's expectations. Oh, no. The Wall Street analysts' expectations. Those are the ones that matter. The Wall Street analysts think that Royal Caribbean is going to miss their earnings by a penny a share next quarter. That stock will get hammered because they'll put a sell rating on the stock or a hold rating on the stock, and you'll find a 5-10% drop in the stock price in one trading session. I used to be a stockbroker, so I follow this stuff. It is a deadly game. So every 13 weeks, the folks at Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and Carnival, they have to hand out a report card to their masters, which is Wall Street, and to the street, all the brokerage firms. And all these analysts are waiting to pounce on any weakness that they can sniff out. MSC, they don't have to report to Wall Street or any analyst whatsoever. They have their bankers, they have their dough. They're based in Switzerland. They don't pay taxes. These guys can operate on a very good margin, very slim margin. I have suspicions that the MSC Seaside is going out at less than 70% occupancy, maybe at less than 80% occupancy. It matters, but it doesn't matter because it's the first season following. They didn't have that ship last year. It's only 3 weeks old. So these are early days, and these are opportunities for you guys to take advantage of unbelievable offers. And I would really look at this deal. They got another ship coming up. I think it's this summer. I think it's June or July. They've got another one coming out also for the Caribbean. So they may have sailing sales for the next year. And it's going to make Royal Caribbean and Norwegian and Celebrity and Regent and Carnival and Princess and Holland America. All these lines are going to have to be competitive with MSC because MSC is not a 3-star bunk bed cruise line. No. This is a 5-star luxury place, luxury liner. They're going after the market. And those with cash are going to check these guys out for this kind of deal. And MSC's strategy is simple. Once you're on our ship, you're going to want to come back next year again. And you won't even take a look at the other guys. So this is really something. Just checking to see my messages here. I have 2 cruises this year, so looking into Mediterranean cruise in 2019, Thomas says. Thomas, I'd recommend you look into MSC. I don't know if they'll have any specials on Mediterranean cruises. I did take a quick peek at MSC for Caribbean cruises a couple of weeks ago, but I didn't see anything glorious yet. But it's early because right now, of course, we're coming into 18. And the Mediterranean season will kick into gear in May, June, July. The real discounts, if there are going to be spring and summer, fall discounts in the Mediterranean, they'll probably kick in the next 2 to 4 or 6 weeks, like between now and the end of, say, February into March. Then they'll really discount those May and June cruises for 18. Now, for 19, you're booking way out. But I will say this: by 19, in the Mediterranean, there will probably be 5 new ships between Ada Cruises, Costa Cruises, because Costa Line is adding ships. MSC, of course, they're adding ships. The Viking line, the Viking guys who are known for river cruises, they've started bringing out ocean vessels. They're much smaller. They're only 930 people per ship. You'd want to check into those guys. Check all the prices and just keep tracking them. Don't commit yet because you got all the time in the world, and see what you can find. Very interesting possibilities for the Mediterranean too. Down to you for you today, and I only brought 2 out today. The second cruise is departing April the 19th. So again, 3 months and a couple of days from now. This is an 18-nighter. Okay, it's a little longer than what most of us might take, but if we're semi-retired or retired, or you've built up some brownie points at work, tell the boss, I'm out of here. I'll see you in 3 weeks. This is a deal you may want to look at. It's a Norwegian cruise line. It's the Norwegian Sun cruise ship. It sails from Seattle to Port Canaveral through the Panama Canal. Okay, so it's an 18-nighter all around North America through the Panama Canal and up to Florida. Now, for you guys, I think Seattle's over here. And it goes like this. I'm always mirroring myself, so I'm looking in the reverse direction. The cruise is 18 nights long, and we start in Seattle. We go to Victoria, British Columbia, then back to on sea for a day down to San Francisco. Then you have 2 days at sea, and you end up in Cabo San Lucas, Cabo. Then you have a day at sea, and you're then in Acapulco in Mexico. Then 2 more days at sea, and you're in Costa Rica for a day. Another day at sea, and you're going through the Panama Canal. That's an experience in itself. Then you're headed to Cartagena, Colombia for a stop. 2 days at sea, you're in Miami. And then the next day it ends up in Port Canaveral, and that's where the cruise officially ends. So you've got this is a repositioning cruise or a Panama cruise, whichever way you want to call it. 18 nights. Let's talk dollars. First thing I'll mention that each cabin comes with a $50 ship credit. That's $25 off a passenger from the cruise fares. I'm going to quote you. Inside room for 18 nights, $833. Take 25 off, $808 for an inside room, 18-night cruise. Ocean view, $949. So that's $924, 18 nights. That's $50 a night per person. And the balcony is expensive at $2,055. They're holding firm on the balcony price for now. It'll be interesting to see as we get closer to April 19 if that price begins to slip a little bit. But at the moment, $2,055. If it were me doing this cruise, it was my cruise to go on, I would strongly look at the ocean view, but I would even be looking at the inside. I'd take an inside. $833, not a problem. For 18 nights, it wouldn't bother me too much, because I would make the inside room is just my bedroom and a bathroom. That's all it is to me. It's not where I live. It's not where I eat. It's not where I would have to be stuck in. Even if I were working on the cruise, I would be out of my room. I'd be somewhere else on the ship. I'd buy an internet package if I had to, obviously, to do my work on board. But generally, I would wait until I'm on shore to get to a shore internet service provider and work. But if I'm just on an 18-day cruise, I'm not working, inside room doesn't bother me at all. I would use the decks of the ship, the top of the ship, the promenade deck. That's my balcony. And there are loungers everywhere, and I will see all I want to see during the daytime. In the evening, when it's dark out and the ship is 25 miles offshore, there are no lights to look at. There are no buildings to look at. You might see the stars and the moon. I'll stare at them for a while, but when it's time to go to bed, I'll just go inside and go to my inside room and go to sleep. Next morning, get up, and here we go again. So a price of $833 for 18 nights. That's a killer deal. That's really good. So that's what I would be, looking at for a repositioning cruise. What a great opportunity, great deal. I like that other one too. That the MSC Seaside, man, that's a fantastic deal. $429 for an inside room, or $669 for a balcony suite. I'll tell you that's a bargain right there, and you can't go wrong with either one. One's a 7-day, one's an 18-nighter. A lot of folks can't take 18-night cruises, but hey, what are you going to do? So there's my deals for the day for you to consider that are going on. I'm just going to check messages. Had a couple of morons coming and going here. I try to block them as quick as I can, folks. Some of you might see these messages. Those of you who are live with me, you might see some messages from some people that just have no business being here and have nothing better to do. I try to block them as humanly possible and get rid of them. Gailey is asking me from the UK, do you think it's better to smell these cruises out yourself as opposed to, say, getting an offer out of the newspaper? Oh, very good question. Very good question. Gailey, boy, that's great. Okay. I have nothing against travel agents. I love travel agents. They're some of the hardest working people out there. They're the ones that are really dedicated. They will move heaven and earth to find you a deal that that'll work for you. If you have a relationship with a travel agent, or you're related to one, one through a friend or something, there's nothing wrong with talking to a travel agent and saying, listen, I've always wanted to go on a cruise, or I've been on cruises before. I'd like to go on another cruise, or I want, whatever holiday you want, flight somewhere, what have you. You tell your travel agent, say, listen, this is January 2018. If you can find me, you give me 5 weeks or 6 weeks warning, or 2 months warning, 60 days or more. You find something that is a killer deal, you let me know what you have. Well, what they'll start doing is they'll put you on their mailing list, and they'll just send you emails. You'll get these notifications on your telephones where they'll say, hey, I found a cruise, out of Miami, or out of Southampton, or cruise heading to the Canary Islands out of Barcelona, 7-day, 9-day, 10-day, wherever you live, wherever you want it to be. You tell them, listen, I've always wanted to go to Australia. You can find me an unbelievable airfare deal, hotel deal, package deal. Give me a call. They will do that for you. All right. What I love to do, being a cruise nut, it's my passion. I really love going on cruises. I will look myself at various websites because I'm in effect a rogue travel agent. I'm an independent. I'm my own travel agent. So I'm constantly looking for deals. That if I find one that I want to jump on, I'll tell my wife, hey, listen, I just found something. What do you think of this? On the other hand, we might say to each other, yeah, well, this fall, because of all these family commitments we have between now and the summer and what have you, if we can target a holiday in the fall, then let's do something between maybe the middle of September to the middle of October or the end of October. Well, then I'll be on the lookout for something in that time frame, but I have no idea what it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be a Caribbean cruise. I don't know if it's going to be a Mexican Riviera cruise. I don't know if it's going to be a repositioning cruise from maybe Europe back to North America, where we fly one way first and come back. It could be anything. So I leave myself open like that. Now, if I were working in a 9-to-5 job, and my wife and I are both working, and we've got kids, and we get 2 weeks holiday a year, plus we have some some days off banked with our employer, then we're in a more of a restricted situation. So this is where I would tell my travel agent, okay, look, I'm working all day long. I just don't have the time to do it. When I get home from work, I'm exhausted. I can't be bothered. You got to find this for me. But then that's what they live for. It's their gig. They may well say to you, gee, Bruce or Gailey, I will find you a 10-day cruise where, we'll get you flown in the day before or 2 days before, and then you'll come home, fly the day you land, or you'll fly home the day after, and there's your sort of a 2-week vacation package, but it won't be too stressful for you and the kids, and we can fit it in, or I'll fit something in for you where maybe a long weekend is involved. Maybe it's in the middle of this whole thing. So you left the week before the long weekend, you're coming home the week and after the long weekend, and that 1 week you only took 4 days off. You didn't take 5 days off. That might work too. So you let the travel agent work that for you and come to you with a complete package. I've got an airfare deal from where you're living to where the cruise ship is. I got hotels for 2 nights before you get on the ship. I got your cruise. I got the hotel after the cruise is over for 1 or 2 nights, and I've got your airfare home, transfers to and from the airport arranged by the cruise line or through whatever. And all you got to worry about are meals for the first 2 days you're there, meals for the last day and a half you're there, and whatever spending money you want on the cruise. There's a travel agent that is going to bat for you. And if you've got one like that, fantastic. You'll work with that person, of course, and way to go. But going online like this, there are other websites out there that help you with cruises. I just like vacationstogo.com. I've used them since 2007, 2008. You figure out who you like to work with and how you like to work it. And I like to find my own airfare deals. I'll find my cruise sort of first, and then I'll find my airfare usually second. But sometimes I do it the other way around. I'll say to my wife, well, let's go to Disney World for 3 days and do Universal Studios, Disney World in Orlando. Maybe we'll do 4 or 5 days in Orlando. And then maybe we'll put a cruise behind that. And then 2 days, or a day or so after that, we'll fly back. Well, then I'll look for airfare deals to Orlando, and I'll find all kinds of combinations to do it. I won't even hesitate to do something like out of Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I'd fly to Las Vegas and spend 2 nights in Vegas first with my wife, book a deal there because hotels in Vegas are cheap. Gambling isn't, but hotels are cheap. And then fly Vegas to Orlando or Fort Lauderdale or Miami, wherever the cruise is, or wherever I wanted to go. So if I want to do Orlando, boom, we go to Orlando. Do Disney World for a day or 2 or 3, Universal Studios, buy those tickets that last, get the 3-day pass, use 2 days and keep 1 for future whenever you want, or buy a 4-day park hopper pass or whatever you want, whatever value works for you. Then do the cruise, and then work our way back. And the way home might well be the same way, a return flight back to Vegas. So I'll grab a night or 2 in Vegas on the way home, and then back to Calgary. I'll put a trip together like that, all by myself, without a travel agent. But then again, I've done it before, and this is what I live for. But between Expedia, Orbitz, through other like Kayak for airfares, I'll track down the airfare deals. Now you have to keep in mind that if you're doing your own airfare searching, let's say on Kayak or Expedia, you look for airfare deals. You're not going to find Southwest Airlines on Expedia, because Southwest in the U.S. they don't publish their fares on Expedia anymore. I know American Airlines was and was not, and maybe isn't again, offering their fares on some of these search engines. So you have to look around a little more to do a little more of the homework. Again, if you're working full time or you're just not into that, you found the cruise, but now you're trying to figure out how to get there and back, you might want to go to a travel agent. But if your travel agent is worth their salt, this individual is going to sit down with you and get to know you and your travel wants, needs, and desires, and your tolerances. And that travel agent is going to help. It's going to figure out, you know what, I can call Gailey up and I can tell her she's got, you got like 6 weeks and we got to go. You got to get on that plane, and there's a killer deal here. I found you a promotion that's so good. Drop everything and go. Well, if the travel agent knows you can do that, you're in business. And so there's nothing wrong with that kind of a relationship at all. Multi-flights are also an interesting way to go too. If you fly, say London, England, you're going to go to Miami, going to do a cruise, and then after the cruise, you're flying to New York City. You're going to spend 3 or 4 days in New York, and then you're going to fly New York back to London. Well, you can get flight stages here. So you might fly British Airways over to Miami, but you may fly an American or an airline partner of BA to New York, and then fly British Airways back to the UK. That's a multi-city flight. You'll get a great price deal on that. Now, you might be able to do that yourself through various entities, sites, but you might have to contact a travel agent to get you the right deal. And who cares if you can find the flight for, say, let's say you can find a flight for $1,100 or £600, whatever the price is. And you've done everything you can to get that price, and the travel agent says, I can get you that for $50 less or £50 less. Use the travel agent, of course, and let them do it for you. I mean, they have all the systems, the reservations, the Sabre systems, and all the other systems that are out there that they can get their hands on. So, go to the pros, basically. I think I'm going to rack it up here. It's 56, almost an hour into this, and I think today we covered some good ground. We had some great questions and comments from our followers. I really appreciate it. Any of you folks out there that are watching me tonight that missed this live broadcast, no big whoop. Thanks for watching the show. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up. Please do. If you really like what I'm doing, become a subscriber and follow my channel. Those of you who've been watching me all day today, I really appreciate it. I hope you gave me a thumbs up today. Let me know you're on there. And I'm on again tomorrow at 5 o'clock Eastern, New York time. I'll be on the air again, and we'll talk about cruising and traveling and whatever else. In the meantime, stay warm out there. I'm looking outside. It's getting cloudier and cloudier. What can I say? It must be winter, Thanks again for watching today, folks. This is Bruce with Traveling with Bruce. See you, Paula K. And we'll talk to you guys next time, as early as tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern. Take care, okay? We'll see you guys. See you, Gailey. Take care.